What is up, guys? In this video, we're going to be building a Django website with the Django PayPal extension. We're going to be able to process PayPal payments through your Django app, not through any JavaScript or any kind of that package, but through the actual most popular, it looks like, Django package or Django PayPal package. So the reason I'm making this is because if we look up Django PayPal, if you've tried to go through this documentation on your own and you've been struggling to actually set it up, so that's the first thing that pops up. If you type in Django PayPal in Google, you will see two links at the top. One of them, or they're both the same thing, just this one's the GitHub and this one is the actual documentation. I didn't find it the most useful to go through these, and there's actually a lot of, I paid probably a few $100 just to get this thing actually working. So if you did happen to be struggling to get this to work, we're going to be going through that and making sure that it's working properly. So let's get started with our project. The first thing, we're going to set up the basic Django project. So I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop, and we're going to call this my store. Why not? So let's go ahead and open this up and get this Django project started. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up the terminal, create our virtual environment. I use pipenv shell. You can use virtual env, that's also fine. I've just found this to be the most convenient. So it's going to go for a little second. Sweet. Now we're going to pip install Django and Django PayPal. Awesome. Now, once those are installed, we can do Django admin start project config. I normally just do config and then dot. I always create my folder first and then call it config. There's reasons behind that, but let's just keep going. So settings, let's go here. So we already have this installed. So at this point, we're actually going to look at the Django or the official docs for this package. We're going to look at install. Okay, we're one level past that. Overview, PayPal payment standard. So we're going to start with this because this is just the most basic setup. So that's what we're going to do. So under installed apps, we're going to add this PayPal standard IPN. So let's get this here. I'm going to bring this in here like so. Paste inside of the installed apps. Next, PayPal test equals true. Yeah, so let's go to the bottom of this file and we're going to add our, we'll add our PayPal settings here. So PayPal settings. We're going to say PayPal test, set that to true. And then I'm going to add an empty variable here. So we're going to say PayPal receiver email. That's going to be used for later. And then I'm just going to put test email. Well, it's really going to be a sandbox email. So I'll just put this for now. Sandbox@gmail.com. So let's see. After that, we're going to want to actually create our app. So we'll create a new app here. We're going to say, let's see, py manage.py start app. Let's call it ecom. I don't know, something like that. Doesn't really matter too much. So we'll go here. We're going to add this to the top. We're going to say ecom apps, ecom config, because we're actually going to be creating a couple of signals here. Let's see. So that's the start. Now we're going to be creating a model. So we're just going to create a super just bare bones model. So we're just going to say class order models.model. That's literally pretty much going to be our model. So we'll do that. and we'll just say pass. It's just going to have an ID. So the only reason we have this is just so we know it actually gets created. You can add all the custom stuff and apply it to your model however you wish. It doesn't actually matter how it gets here. So let's see. So we're going to go to our views. And in this one, actually, let's also set up the URLs. So we'll start here. Path admin. Let's take a look. Update the database. Yeah, so after you add it, we can already update. We do have this, so let's go ahead and update everything. Make migrations and py manage.py migrate. The double and between these commands makes it to where you can run them one after the other, but only on one line, so you don't just have to keep adding those over and over. So PayPal test equals true, update the database, create an instance of the PayPal payments form, which, yeah, in the documentation, it doesn't actually tell you quite where to import that. So that's where I found the other actual articles here useful as well. So we'll just look up Django PayPal, and there's two main ones that I found that were really good. One of them was slightly more useful than the other, so I'll actually show you this one. We're going to go to, let's see, let's just find this link. So in Django, saved it at the bottom. Yeah, so there is a really useful article here too. I did struggle with, there were some things that weren't just working off like out of the gate after I used this tutorial. So this is the Django PayPal integration with Django PayPal by overiq.com. Yeah, so they did set this up quite well, but I just know they have the source code in here, so it makes it slightly easier. So migrate, we did that, receive your email. Yeah, we're also going to want to add this to our URL, so let's go ahead and do that. This is for, basically there's something called IPN inside of PayPal. This just makes it to where a URL that we use later in our code is working. So we're going to add this right here. And I'm using Vim, that's why, or Neo Vim in my VS Code config, so that's why it might look a bit interesting with some of the stuff I'm doing. So include right there. So PayPal. We're also going to include the views for our e-commerce app. So include ecom.urls, because that's just going to be there later. We're not really going to build any pages or anything too fancy. So we're just going to have pretty much just the button, and maybe I'll show some variables through the template. And yeah, that'll be all. So standard IPN, so checkout, process payment. Yeah, so where is that form? Yeah, so right here, PayPal standard forms. Yeah, so would be useful if they actually added this in the official docs, but I did not see it. So from PayPal standard forms, import PayPal payments form. So let's do that. We're going to go to views. So from PayPal standard forms, import PayPal. Oh wait, no, PayPal payments form, like so. Currently, these are not highlighting. That's because I need to add this to the actual. I need to set up the right Python environment after you create the pip env. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna refresh, and our app should pop up somewhere. Yeah, so here's my store. So I'm going to click that, and then this should turn green. There we go. Nice. Yeah, I am using Pylance, an extension for my highlighting, so things can look slightly different from your configuration. Next, we're going to do, yeah, we can actually go ahead and build our view. So we're going to do this. Define, we'll just call this home because there's only pretty much going to be one page. So we can just do form is going to equal PayPal payments form. This is going to need a dictionary. So initial will be, you can call this whatever you like. I'll just call it, you can just call it PayPal dict. We'll create that right above. And let's see, let's take a look at the documentation here, because they only give you part of it again. Like, so if we look here, it says update the database, create an instance of that form. You must fill a dictionary with the information required to complete the payment and pass it through the initial parameter when creating the PayPal payments form. This form is not like a normal Django form. Yeah, so this is just some more stuff. However, they don't actually tell you what to put in here. It just says for a full list of variables that can be used in PayPal dict, see PayPal HTML variables. Names of these variables are not the same as blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so they say that you should use it, but they don't actually tell you what to do there. So that's where these articles come in handy, because it actually shows you some of the stuff you can set up. So let's go ahead and do this in our project. So we'll look at these side by side. And squish. So, and that's a bit too claustrophobic for me. So, shift. All right, so that's a bit better. Yeah, so let's start there. So let's set up this dictionary. This is going to be business settings dot PayPal receiver email, which we set up in our settings. So we'll need to import that from Django.config. Oh, wait, no, conf import settings. There we go. Next, let's create just some random price. Doesn't actually matter. Amount. Everything here needs to actually be in a string format. So it, in general, should not be any other data type, because just PayPal can act a bit strange with it, or it just might not work at all. So that's that. Let's see. So amount, we'll just say 50. Actually, okay, let's just say like $20 for now, because it's going to be a test payment. Yeah, so item name, let's just say order. We can just call it, I don't know, product 1. Why not? Doesn't actually matter. So that's going to be whatever your product name is. Invoice. So this one is a bit more interesting. I found that this can be, well, there's a few ways how to set this up. Let's see. So invoice. For the sake of this example, just because I want you to get it working as quickly as possible, we're going to go up here, and we're actually just going to import a Python package that creates unique IDs from, well, it's just a Python package that creates unique string character strings. So we're going to import UUID. We're going to go to our terminal here just so I can show you what this does. So if we go in a basic Python integrated terminal, whatever, we're going to do this import UUID. And we're just going to say UUID.UUID4, call it. And it's going to return this really long string. It's just a bunch of random characters. You can do it more than once, and it'll be completely different because they are unique. And that's basically what you do with this package. So you can just put in a string, UUID4, the same way, and boom. Yeah, so every time you call it, it's going to be some unique string. So we're going to do that for our invoice pretty much every time. So let's do this invoice string UUID, UUID4, and call that. Let's see here. So currency code. Yeah, so currency code. There was some interesting behavior with this because I haven't actually gotten it to work outside of USD. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's just a bug that I noticed. Maybe you experience something else. Hopefully it works for you if you do have another currency. But so far, I've only gotten it to work in USD. Notify URL. So I've seen a few ways of doing this. As you can see here, he's using the format part, but I'm used to modern Python. So we're going to use F strings because we're not old people. So we're going to do this. We're going to do HTTP, just like a slight variation of what he's doing. There is another way to build this, but I don't feel like actually setting that up right now. Let's see. So host, and yeah, he has some interesting parts here. So there's host, and then there's also PayPal or reverse PayPal IPN. Oops. So we're gonna have both of these reverse, which we'll need to import PayPal-IPN. This actually comes from the URLs that we brought into the main URLs file in the other, in our main URLs file. So we'll have that there. That's going to give us an error because I need to use double quotes on these. So like that, and yep. So return URL. Oops. HTTP. Yeah, we'll also need to define host here. So host reverse PayPal reverse. Actually, we can call this, well, yeah, we can call this whatever we want. Some people call it PayPal reverse, or the person who wrote this called it payment done. I call it PayPal reverse. You can call it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. These are views that we actually have to build on our own. So they're slightly different. Do that number, boom, and good to go. Last part, cancel return. For some reason, I thought it was something else, but let's see that. F string HTTP host reverse, once again, PayPal cancel. I called it PayPal cancel because it just makes more sense to me, and it's a bit more uniform in my own opinion. So, oops, let's do this. Nope. Yep, and that's closed. And I'm pretty sure that's all you actually need here. So so these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 fields. These are pretty much all you need. I know some of these are optional, and I think he even tells you in this super duper useful article. If you're not learning this from me, you're learning this. You should probably look to here because it is useful. So it says optional, but in my experience, they're not as optional as it says there. So let's see here. So we have this PayPal dictionary. We're passing it into this form here. Then we're going to call this form in our actual view. So we're going to make a dictionary for context. We're going to say form. Yeah, you probably already know how to write context into your view if you're here. So we're just going to say return render request. At least I hope you do. Templates. Or wait, no, sorry. We're just going to say home.html. We're not going to have any nested files in this one. And context. So we have those. Let's build that host part that we did down here. So for host, we're just going to equal request.getHost. Actually didn't know about this until I started playing with this package. And reverse, we're going to import from, there's actually two places we can get it from. So we can just get it from here from the shortcuts, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the more official place is to get it from URLs. So if we say from Django.urls import reverse, that should be the legit one. Yeah, and as you can see, the highlighting works more for that one. Just so these can be more tidy, we'll clean these up, put that there, and yeah, that's good. Okay. So that's there, and yeah, so now let's go ahead and make our let's make our templates. So inside of ecom, we're going to make our templates, and actually I'll just do this. So templates / home.html, and we're here now. So let's build our page, boom. And let me close this just so you can see. So we have this basic setup. We're not going to add anything else besides the form for right now. So we're just going to say form.render. For this specific form, we actually don't need to include any form tags because it says it in not very loud print somewhere. Yeah, so like at the bottom, it's like, please note this form is not used like the normal Django form. Most likely you're just going to skim over this and probably not read it that well. Then at the very end, it says, yeah, it includes the form tag with the correct endpoint. I totally skipped that part and it wasn't working for me, so don't put it in the form tag, otherwise nothing's going to happen. And all it does once we reach this point, it will bring us to, let's actually run our server now. So we'll get that going. Exit here. We're going to say pi manage.py. Oops. Yeah, pi manage.py run server. All right. So it looks like there are some issues. What mistakes did I make here? All right. So I found the issue. As you can see here, it says no module named ecom URLs. So the reason is inside of here, I pointed towards the app, but I did not create the urls.py file here. So let's go ahead and create that urls.py from Django.urls import path patterns. Boom. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Views. Name equals home. Views. Okay, so that's there. Yep. Let's go to our website now, or now this run server should work. So pi manage.py run server. And we are golden. All right, let's open this and there should just be a PayPal button. All right, PayPal reverse not found. Yeah, that's because our views do not currently exist. So we'll need to make these two, and we'll need to make views for them as well. So PayPal reverse. Let's do that. So we're gonna say define PayPal reverse. Oops. And we're good. So PayPal reverse. This is going to be the view name. We're going to say, yeah, so we're just going to redirect back to the home page if something works. So this is after someone makes a payment on PayPal. It's going to bring them back here if it's successful. So return, redirect, which we're going to import, and we're going to say home. So we're just going to go back to the home page if that happens. We're going to say so here, shortcuts, redirect, and that's going to be that. So we'll go back to the bottom. We'll make another one called PayPal cancel request, return, redirect. This is also going to go home. So you can, I normally just add messages here, which I may set up just so you can see a working version of it. So that's there. And you know what? Let's actually do that. So I'm going to say messages. So we'll set up messages in this project as well. Messages.success. You've successfully made a payment. Go back to the beginning here. Request. We'll need to import messages. So from Django, I think it's contrib. From Django.contrib, import messages. If I can spell that right. Boom, messages. Yeah. So that's going to be a success. And this other one will be a let's see. So this can just be your order has been canceled. Like that. And that will not be success. That will be error. All right. So that's going to be there. I'll set up the messages really quick. we're going to say, so for message and messages, actually, let's do it this way. Messages. So we're going to create a list because that's just good HTML practice. Li message. Yeah, so we're not going to do any highlighting. It's just, again, super duper basic. So let's go back here and go to our views once again. So you successfully made a payment. Your order has been canceled. And that's not proper grammar. So let's fix that before something bad happens. So there's that. Get host. And yeah, that should be solid. So yeah, I didn't make any products, just you fill in this with whatever model or other thing that you've already set up. We're just getting it working. So that's that. Now, if we go to our page now, yeah, we still need to set up the URLs for those. So let's see that. So we're going to say make 2 of those. So path, this is going to be PayPal, return, name, PayPal, return. Just change all the names here. PayPal. Oh, wait. I called it reverse, but I meant return. So PayPal return. And this one, PayPal cancel. PayPal cancel. So that's going to be like that. Now let's go to views. PayPal cancel. Yeah, so this should be return. All right, yeah, so that's good. And I think, let's see if there's still any issues. PayPal reverse not found. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see where I got confused. All right, and refresh. Yeah, so now as you can see, the end result is just this PayPal button that's not really pretty, and there's not an easy way to edit it because it's only images. You can't just set a button here. So if the what was that guy's name? Spooky Lukey, that's his package. So he's the guy who made this. It's Luke something. If you happen to watch this, or if you're someone who can talk to him, let us just make our own buttons, unless that's like some standard that I don't know about, in which case forget everything I said. Yeah, so this is the end result. If you click on this now, it should actually bring you to PayPal's login. Yeah, so it will make it to where it does bring you to the PayPal just area here. Then you can log in. On some places, you can create an account here. I've also seen it to where on a client of mine's, it actually says like use a guest account or something. Not really sure why, but that just seems to be the case for mine. So yeah, you can log in and make a purchase. So let's actually do that with a test account. So let's see. We're going to say PayPal developer login. So we'll go to PayPal and we're going to set up our developer account in order to get this working more properly and build the sandbox stuff and all of that. So we'll log into the dashboard. I already have an account here, so I'll just log in. Let's see, PayPal is migrating its sandbox environment to the cloud, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so let's see, my apps and credentials, REST APIs, and yeah, we don't actually need any of that. So we'll go to sandbox. On the sidebar, there's dashboard, sandbox, and mock sections. We're going to go to sandbox and go to accounts. I already created quite a few, which I actually want to delete these if I can, because I already used them for testing. So we'll just keep deleting those because I want to show you how to do it all the way from scratch. it does come with 2 default ones. Something went wrong. Yeah, so sometimes it just can't be deleted. So I already have a few. So let's go ahead and just create a new one. So I'm going to create a, I'll use 2 of them. So I'll make a business account for now. I'll use the US. We'll go ahead and create that. Right, so that's the new one. Date created 19 July 2021. Let's go ahead and make one more for personal. So this is going to be personal. And this is going to be the one that you're going to be buying with. Like it actually says, like whenever you're making it, buyer account, merchant account. So you'll need both. And I'm pretty sure it comes with these 2 by default. But in case for some reason these happen not to work, you can always use fresh ones, and it will most likely work in that case. So next, we're going to do this. We're going to go back to our application. We're going to need to set up this as the business email, so, or as our receiver email. So let's see that now. We're going to grab the email here. I'm actually going to change the password, and I will delete this account already by the time I'm done with this video. So I'll just do. So I normally use Django 123 for this stuff, for just like dummy passwords. Of course, you know, don't share that. Like, don't share your own whatever password, but that's just a dummy. I normally change them after I make that sort of thing. So let's see. So we're gonna grab this ID, and we're going to go back here. We're gonna go to settings, and let's go right. So inside of the PayPal receiver email, we're gonna change this to what we copied, this really long business email at business.example.com. Yeah, so that's actually all we need to do as far as the setup on PayPal side, because you don't have to enter any passwords or anything into Django. That's actually all you need, because PayPal just knows whose thing this is. It does have to be a business account, so like it has to be a validated or verified business account in PayPal for it to work, unless it's a sandbox account. So yeah, let's see. And yep, so that's all good there. Now we're gonna go back to our app once again. We're going to, so we'll go back. And now if we click, let's refresh, click buy now. And yeah, so yeah, as you can see, before it actually just said the email that I put there, that was like just sandbox at whatever.com. Now it's cancel and return to test store. So normally the corporation name will pop up here, but that's set in on the PayPal side. So that's that. Let's see. So we're going to now go back to our sandbox accounts. We're going to go to the personal one, and we're going to log in with this information. And yeah, so we're going to grab this. We're going to just make the password the same, Django123. Go ahead and save. Hope I typed that right. Sometimes I get it wrong. Yeah, so that's good. And if you look at, let's see, just for a quick note, you can see how much money you have on like your sandbox account, and you can actually edit it. So if you go to account details, funding on that specific sandbox account, you scroll to the bottom and you see PayPal. So PayPal balance 50,000 or 5,000 USD. You can edit this, make it go up to like 10,000 USD, or change that to whatever, and that will be good to go. It doesn't say USD here, but that's interesting. Okay, next, let's actually log in with that email now. So I'm gonna put that, nope, that's the wrong one. Thought I copied it. Copy that one. Paste that one. You can tell because it says personal. Then you can just log in. It'll bring you to the checkout page. If it doesn't for some reason, just try clearing your cookies. And because sometimes, like earlier today, it said something like PayPal's just not working. I just cleared my cache and cookies on my browser, and then it finally worked after that. So let's close that. Doop doop doop. Yes. Yeah, so we set 20 on this side. So if we go back to our views, you can see the amounts for 20, currency code USD, and it might make more sense for these to be next to each other, so you can also write it that way. So yeah, you can make a payment. You can pay now. And then once that's done, yeah, so it was completed here. We'll return to merchant. So you've successfully made a payment. Now it says this, which all this means currently is that it went back to our store. So if we go to our admin, so let's actually create a super user in our app. So we'll go ahead and do that. If you're on Windows, you can say pi manage.py. If you're on other things, it's going to be Python. So pi manage.py create super user, username admin, email test at example.com, Django 123, Django 123. Boom. All right. Next, let's see here. So yeah, let's look at the admin. All right, and that's because I didn't run server, so let's run that again. Manage.py run server. And now we are here. So admin, Django 123. We'll go to PayPal IPNs. Now, if this was fully functional, this PayPal IPNs would actually be working. And this is actually where I got stuck on previously when I was first building it. And I spent probably 10 to something hours just trying to figure out how to make this work properly. And it was not very successful. So the reason is, if you look at the docs here, one, you already can tell that they're just missing some stuff that we already did. And then it does talk about the signals, but it actually says, it shows how to set up one of them, but not both of them. So there's valid IPN received, which is whenever everything works properly. Then there's invalid IPN received, which normally happens, and they don't tell you that you should set it up here. Of course, it is something similar, but I just think that in general, they should show you the code that they want you to type. And if there are some issues, this will be working more often than this. So you won't get any feedback just with this code. As I'll show you once it's set up, though. But before this, we can actually get it working on this testing side. So whenever you're doing this, the first reason it's not working is because, as it says here, it actually tells you, so if you're attempting to test this in development using the PayPal sandbox, and your machine is behind a firewall / router, yeah, so just by default, your computer is not automatically publicly accessible on the internet. The reason that it doesn't post is because just PayPal, it's not able to paste back to your view, which it does say here. However, it says you need to use a tool like ngrok, which doesn't actually tell you anything. So now I'm going to actually set this up on my Windows computer. I'm pretty sure it's slightly different on the other ones as they explain on the website, but I'm actually going to show you how to set that up now. So make your machine publicly accessible, and yeah. So let's see this. So we're going to go to ngrok.com right now. We're going to download this, get started for free. I think I already created an account, so let's see, log in. Maybe I didn't. Get started for free. Okay, maybe, let's see, give me just a second. I'm going to log in with my Google, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't actually know why they make you log in, but it's whatever. So download ngrok. So download for Windows. You're just going to click on this. We're going to go here. So that's going to download. skadoosh ngrok.exe. So this isn't on your path or anything. You're just gonna have to. I normally just double click on it, which might not be the most efficient, but I don't set it up in my path. So yeah, we can just walk through this. So it does say connect your account using this auth token. So I literally just used this auth token. When when I first started, I didn't know that this was like the auth token that you were supposed to or could use. And I was like, where do you find it? Turns out you're actually supposed to literally use this one. So let's see that. So we're going to double click. If you're on Windows, this should pop up either PowerShell or Terminal. For me, it is Terminal because I do not like PowerShell. So let's see. So we're going to do what it says here. So we're going to say ngrok auth token, all of this stuff. So let's copy that. Let's go to our terminal. We're going to paste this and yeah, so auth token saved to configuration file, blah, 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 blah. Next, fire it up. Yeah, so now what you're going to want to do, because we are on port 8000 in pretty much every Django project ever, you're going to say ngrok http 8000. Now, this started. Let's see. Yep. So that's good. And actually, I'm going to cut that part out of the video. So I'm just going to not do that. All right. And okay, I'll start back at the part where I said I was going to start it. So, so we'll open this. Let's see. And give me just a, yeah, so we're going to run it. So normally it's going to be on, and actually I'll just start here. So ngrok, because I already was here. Ngrok http 8000. Yeah, so it should look something like this. And we should be good to go. Yeah, so once you have this up, you'll be able to go to this link in your browser. So we're just going to copy this. So go ahead and highlight it, copy, and paste it up here. Right, yeah, so disallowed hosts. If you want to fix that, just go to your settings, allowed hosts, and you're just going to put a star right here. Whoops, that's not a star. Backspace and boom. Yep, so that's that. Put a star there, and now, so whenever you put a star here, that just means literally any host is fine. So if we refresh here, this is now accessible. So now that this is here and we have our test account and all of that good stuff, let's go ahead and paste our, not that one. Let's go to our sandbox, copy this guy, paste this here, do our Django 123, Django 123, log in. So now that you're doing it through this, through the other URL that we started off on, it will now work a bit better than it was before. So return to merchant, and now at least the payments will be working properly. So if we go to admin here, we're going to say, let's see, admin Django 123. Yeah, so now that we actually did this through, and we're still on the ngrok URL, but now you can access it anywhere. So here's typically what happens. So the payment status is complete. However, you might notice that this flag info part is giving you some weird bad request error or a flag. From everything that I've seen, and there was a GitHub, like on their main page, I think. Let's see. So if we go to their GitHub, let's see, Django, PayPal. So we go back here. look at their spooky looky. Go to issues, fatal failure 400 bad requests. So this is something similar to what it is. Basically, this is an open error that just happens sometimes. Even I've had the same issue here. Yeah, so let's see, bad request. Yeah, so this is the one that I kept getting, and it's the same one that I still have. It kind of happens randomly for right now. So you can still see the rest of the information. So like this is that random UUID I created. Flag info, the transaction. Either way, the point is here that it worked. So the payment was completed, and if you're not on the test mode and you have it set up with a real account, this will already work and you will receive money. So with that, there's only one more step to do, and that's actually get the signals working properly. So to do that, let's do the following. For now, it's actually a bit more straightforward. It does require a bit of knowledge on using signals in general, but I'll show you how to set those up right now. So we're just going to make a signals.py. You can do it with the whole creating a signals folder and creating a hooks.py and all of that stuff. I'm fine with just doing signals.py because normally I tend to not have a lot of them. So we're going to start here. So you just create your signals.py file at first. And let's see what we put here. So we'll actually go back to their code. Let's see. And yeah, so we'll go back to their, nope. Yeah, so we'll go back here and now we will see. Yeah, so we'll grab this big function that is not really that well commented because sometimes they use ellipses and sometimes they do not. So let's start there. We're going to copy. We're going to paste this right here, all of this code. So in our signals, yeah, we're going to use all of this. So payment status equals completed is one way to do it. I'm actually going to, for now, just get rid of all these comments because they're not really that useful. Yep. Don't need pretty much any of that. So all we're really worried about at the moment, so IPN is equal to sender. We're going to say if IPN dot, I think it's payment status, and we can look at the, we'll actually look at this one. Yeah, so in their code, show me the money, or wait, no. Yeah, so if IPN object payment status is equal to, payment status is equal to, I thought somewhere else I saw that someone used completed, and I know on my own project, I just wrote literally completed. So let's go to the bottom of this one. Get object, so signal. Yeah, so right here, if IPN payment status is equal to completed, like that, then here we can essentially do something with whenever it gets completed. So do something when completed. In our case, we're actually going to go ahead and build that. So we're just going to say from dot models import order, and then we're just going to create a new order. So order dot objects dot create. Yeah, and we'll actually change the name of this. So, and also there's another way to write this that's a bit more tidy. Yeah, so at receiver valid IPN received. So this is just a way to where you don't have to call this at the bottom, which is more tidy. So register, oops, Did not spell that right. Register. Valid. IPN received. We'll need to import register as well. So that is in, yeah, so from, oh yeah, receiver, my bad. So from Django.dispatch import receiver, Django.dispatch import receiver. So we'll go back there, receiver. So that's good. Get rid of that. Yep. All right, yeah. So we're already doing something. So if the payment status is completed, that's going to go through. Now, we're going to create one more, and then I'm going to change the name of this to valid. Yeah, so we changed the name valid IPN received. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Let's see. Payment. Well, okay. Successful. No. Valid IPN signal. That's good enough. Invalid IPN signal. There we go. So we're just going to change this to invalid right here. We're going to go at the top, import that invalid IPN received. And so you want both of these to work because they're going to kind of trigger randomly. I don't know why. From everything I've read, it's just some random PayPal issue. I'm not really sure if it's on the fault of the package or PayPal, but I do know PayPal does have some issues. So yeah, you can pretty much just have the same code for the most part. And yeah, you should be good to go with the signals there. And we'll just need to connect this inside of our apps. So we're going to make a method called ready self. And then we're actually just going to import. So import ecom.signals. So we're going to import that signals.py file. And that's all you actually need to do to make it work. So if you want to test that these are now working, and again, you have to use ngrok in order for this to work. So the same thing that we had to do to get our IPNs to load in our database, we'll have to do the same for these. So we'll have to use ngrok and all of that. And yes, so let's do the following. Yeah, so let's test this. And also, just so you can see, we're going to say print IPN invalid and go to the top and say IPN valid. In my experience, I've gotten more IPN invalids and valids, and the only difference between when I get this one is absolutely nothing. It just randomly decides that it works now. So that's that. Now, let's try this, see if it works. So we'll go back to our website, go back to view site. We'll view it inside of our, yeah, so at our ngrok URL, we're going to go to view site. Buy now. Yeah, so it's already logged into that test account. So let's just make a purchase. So that went through. Let's return to merchant. And it didn't. Okay, yeah. So here, payment status. Yeah, so there's just a typo, it looks like. So payment right status. Yep. And status. There we go. And that is it. Right, yeah, so we'll need to try that again. Buy now. And pay now again. Yeah, so here you can actually see it says IPN invalid. And then if this worked, there should be an order object that was created. So let's check out that order object. Admin. Right, let me actually set that in the admin really quick. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. We're just going to look at it inside of here. So manage.py shell. So we'll say from ecom.models import order. Then we're going to say order.objects.all. And if it worked, this should not be empty. If it did not, then it would be. So yeah, it made one of them, which means that it did fire after the payment status was completed. And if that's working, that means that your app is actually functional. If you want to make this if you want to make it actually work like live or like whenever you're getting it hosted, all you have to do is go to your settings. Like I said before, set this up with a actual business email. So my business email at company.com. That'll work. And false. So set PayPal test to false, or I think you can also just delete it, but this one's a bit more explicit. So yeah, and that is actually all you need in order to get this to work. So you can push it up to Heroku and production, even on local. Well, okay, yeah, not on local, or you'll need ngrok, but whenever it's in production, it should work by now. So that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will do my best to answer. Last thing, I would also just advise you to use Stripe and not PayPal for this sort of thing, but this is the guide for if you do want to use the Django package instead of just using like the JavaScript like front end or gateway or whatever it's called. Yeah, this is how to do it. So again, thank you for watching. Bye for now.